All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of LaGrande's October, March, or no, April. We'll say fourth. Welcome to the fourth Community Town Hall. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to everybody that's online and joining us. We're going to change things up just slightly. We're going to make sure that this doesn't work. There you go. And approach things a little bit differently. The agenda or the journey that I'm going to take you guys on this evening is we're going to do some celebration. We're going to give you some updates. We're going to tell you what the plans are. And then we're going to hopefully have some little bit of participation and dialogue exchange with each other. And then, of course, along with that, some opportunity for questions and answers this evening. Some of that will be happening throughout the evening as well. With that being said, one of the things that we've done for those of you that are new, one of the things that we've done in every one of these is we want to take time to make sure that we're, as best as possible, reaching out into the community and acknowledging people who are doing good and great things for our community. One, so hopefully they'll want to keep doing those things. But secondly, also to be able to make sure that people know that they're seen. And that we're not just leaving them to their own devices and expecting them to continue to do all the things that they're doing and that nobody cares. And so our desire and hope is to be able to do that in every one of those. And later on, I'll ask, as a reminder, to give everybody an opportunity to be able to submit those in the future. With that being said, what we did historically is we'd usually bring up one person at a time and we'd recognize them. And what I realized last time is that we ran really long. And my desire is to be able to make sure that we're giving everybody the time that I told them that I was going to do or less in order to get through what we're going to get through, but not at the diminishment of recognizing those great people that are in our community. So our approach is slightly different, and what I would like to be able to do is ask each of the individuals, if you're here in the room, you're welcome to come down. I would like to do that because I'd like to give you something, and or at least if you're able to, stand up where you're at or raise your hand. So if anyone representing here with Art Center East could come down.
I'll come down.
Cody, are you in the room? Okay. Dr. Davenport, I see you're making your way down. Evan Humphrey, if you could come down. Please come over into the center of the room. You guys get to be the focus, not me.
Great. All right.
You okay? You need help?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Joe and Jan Crease.
Cressy.
I'm sorry, Cressy. I'm sorry.
Hi there. How are you?
George.
Welcome.
Good to meet you.
Is Leah Spiegel here?
Yes.
Liz and Grant Meyer. Liz Turner. Is Maggie? I don't see Maggie. Maggie Bayham. And then Mike Frazier. Thank you for coming. So please feel free to face straight out. I want people to see you guys as we speak about you. So for Art Center East, if you'd raise your hand.
Here I am.
So I was lucky enough to nominate you, but I'm pretty confident that if I had polled the community and asked them if they had any thoughts in regards to Art Center East, they'd probably say a whole lot more than I could possibly say because I've only been here almost a year. And so I had the fortune of being able to meet with them last week to talk over some things that I think we're going to do that are going to be further great for the community. But in that opportunity to walk around and see what it looks like inside of there and all the things you're doing and all the things you're forecasting to do, what I can say is Art Center East is amazing. and they're doing really good and great things for our community, and they're going to do even more great things for our community into the future. And if you haven't been recognized yet, I'm sorry for that, but what I can say is you deserve recognition today, and I appreciate that, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
With that being said, there's also this, signed by myself, which is really the most valuable signature on there, and the mayor.
Wow.
Okay, all right, he's somewhat
Suitable for framing.
suitable for mayor.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service to our community. Eastern Oregon Veterans Association, this was for Cody Vela. There's actually a couple people that I'll be highlighting similarly in this fashion when we talk today. Since he's not with us, not because I'm trying to be skipping him, but my hope is that we'll get him at the next one. And so if it's all right with you, I'm going to go ahead and skip him, and we'll save him for the next one and see if we can get him to show up. Dr. Davenport. This one I could probably get a little bit emotional talking about. Let me first hand you this. Thank you. Dr. Davenport is one of those people who early on in my, I wouldn't say early, about midway in the last year, she was willing to take me up on my offer to say, come down and talk to me and let's see what we can accomplish just simply through conversation, and then challenge me to help you with whatever might be something that you might want to challenge with. Now, I will say that it hasn't worked out quite the way we wanted to
Not
as of
yet. That's the
yet.
only thing I'm saying. It's
Exactly.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
But I would have to say we've had probably a minimum of 5 or 6 meetings. She was willing to participate in those meetings with me, and she's done, if you aren't aware already on your own, she's done a lot of work to try and raise awareness in regards to Americans with disabilities and the various different, I don't want to say requirements, but sometimes requirements, more than anything, desirements. Because our community, not because I think they don't care, but the costs associated with trying to help ADA people in our communities are high, but also the level of awareness that we have in the community sometimes appears to be lacking. And we're working really hard to try and raise that awareness. And the fact that she stayed persistent with her, if you haven't noticed, not that I'm trying to bring you down
That's okay.
and any attention to you, but she has her own difficulties. In fact, if she was to tell her own story, I think, if you would allow me, she would say that it wasn't because she'd spent her whole life that way, it was because it unexpectedly happened with her. And when it did happen, she realized that she needed to do better for others. And so I appreciate that you're doing that for our community. I appreciate that you're willing to engage me,
Yeah.
and I thank you for inviting me to be a part of that.
Yeah, we'll continue the conversation.
All right, Evan Humphrey. I have to say, I probably get a little emotional about this one as well. If you know anything about our civic engagements efforts that we've been doing, is we're, along with every good and or perceivably challenging comment that might come over social media, which predominantly, hands down, most of our civic engagement is happening there because that's where the community is. But in the course of those conversations, we, of course, started developing our community roundtables, our this community town hall, as well as really, honestly, any opportunity that the community is willing to give us to be able to try and help them know and understand, let alone for us to have opportunity to have awareness of what needs to be addressed, then people will pick that up and take the opportunity to do so. Evan's one of those guys that saw it, engaged me, started showing up to roundtables. And when I say, I did throw an S at the end of that, he did show up to roundtables. And in every single time that he shows up, I'm sorry, am I moving it? Every single time that he showed up, not only did he show up willing to engage in conversation, but he also showed up willing to offer ideas and not just simply say, hey, here's an idea, go do it. He said, here's an idea, and how can I help you do it? And one of those is the example here is the Grande loop. So one of the things I've heard plenty of since I've been here is there's no central good place for people to be able to go and look and understand and know what's happening in LeGrand. There's a lot of places that have their own ways of doing it. There's not a central place. Evan took his own skill sets, took his own time, and created the Grand Loop. And through creating LeGrand Loop, he even made it user-friendly for people to be, and for him to manage it, for people to be able to send him things that are going on in LeGrand. And through the system that he created internal for him to manage and allows us to help if we should become so inclined, to be able to make sure that if anybody's willing to sign up for this, is it just a week? Is it just weekly or is it?
A weekly newsletter, yeah.
Okay, a weekly newsletter that gets sent out to anybody that wants it that will tell you everything that's happening in LeGrand. And anybody that has an event that's occurring, if you're willing to sign up, and here's a link or a QR code for you to be able to do so. Bottom line is, if you're willing to send them the information, he'll make sure it's on the list and the community will have opportunity to be informed. And we're planning on making that a primary means for us to communicate our events. Main Street is intending to do the same thing. The Chamber is intending, I think, as I understand it, is intending to do the same thing. And anybody else that's willing to send them the information, he's got it down so well, it happens quickly. So if you send it today, it'll be there on Sunday. So.
I'm gonna sit down.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's allowed.
No, we're good.
All right, Joe and Jan Crease. Cressy, I'm sorry, all right, I'm getting closer, I was better than the first time. Let's see, nominator for this was actually myself. So, can you talk a little bit about it a little more?
Sure.
Okay.
I am Carrie Bishop, the Memorial Library Director. We recently underwent some budget cuts, so we made a little sign for our front desk saying kind of what's going away, what we're reducing. We love our patrons, so Jan came to me and spoke with me for a bit on the topic. She's an avid Hoopla user. I don't know if any of you
Yay.
use Hoopla here. That was one of our streaming services that we had to kind of, take a little bit of money out of, we'll say. So Jan came forward, very concerned about that, and offered to help with that. So she donated money. So we put that money directly into Hoopla itself. So you can thank Jan for giving me more more access to Hoopla this fiscal year. So we love our patrons. We appreciate your donations, and especially thank you, Jan.
So I'd like to add just a little bit to that, because the last thing that I would want the community to walk away thinking and or feeling is that we're saying that we only appreciate you when you bring money. Of course, the fact that you did that is a big deal, and it means a lot to us because it's not like we wanted to do it, but sometimes we have to make tough decisions, and that's an example of a way, not the only way, but a way that a community member can step up and help. Our hopes, if you guys have seen anything in regards to what we're doing in regards to civic engagement, is our theme is better together. All we want is for each of us to find a way to contribute. It could be something as simple as helping us get the word out about events that are occurring. If you wanted to donate $1 million, we won't have any heartache over that either. Or a few million. But the point is that you found your way and you contributed. Evan found his way, and all of you have found your way, and that matters. And thank you. Let's see. Rod, would you mind talking about her?
Yeah, I'd love to.
My name's Grande, and I'm here tonight especially to thank Leah Spiegel for all the work that she's done to make the Repair Cafe happen here in town. I don't know if y'all know about Repair Cafe, but it's a place where people bring tools and glue and clamps and wires and stuff to do repair work, and then people bring in broken stuff and get it fixed for nothing. And it's more fun than you can imagine. But Leah is the one who organized this whole event. She researched it, she heard about it someplace, she researched what it would take to make it happen, found a bunch of people who would be willing to bring in tools and clamps and show up every month or so. And then she's advertised and made sure that people kind of know about it. And so anyway, it's a great activity. Recently, a treasured member of our community brought a vacuum cleaner that she's been using for 70 or 80 years to Repair Cafe, and she got it fixed. She's organized the whole thing, and it's a wonderful thing. Thank you. Thank you.
And we're always looking for new volunteers, so and even if you want to learn and don't know, you can sit next to somebody who knows.
Thank you. I'm gonna give this to you guys. So I feel like I'm gonna struggle a little bit here to be able to fully and adequately articulate the reality of what you guys do and bring to the, not at the diminishment of anybody else up here, please, I'll take it that way. But, I'm sorry.
Oh, now watch out for the camera.
Yeah, no, I'm making sure I've moved you guys up. So you guys own Community Cares, right? Community Kindness. But you care. Yeah, it's through that kindness that you exhibit your caring. I've come across you guys a few different times, partially because you've showed up to our round tables as well. And then through other opportunities to hear about some of the great things that you guys are doing. But the theme, I think, from within what I know and understand about what you're doing to contribute to our community is focused a lot on our youth, correct? Their desire is to help youth in our community to be able to develop and gain skill sets that will help them not only just simply the ability to exist functionally in our society, but also for the sake of just simply helping them to become better versions of themselves going forward and wherever they're going in life. And you guys have invested a tremendous amount of time and energy, and I would bet your own financial resources in order to be able to make that successful and to have an impact on people's lives. You're doing that, and you're never walking around saying, look at me. You're just doing it because you love, and that matters. And so I felt it necessary for us to make sure we brought you out and said thank you for what you're doing in our community.
Can I add something?
Please.
Okay. Well, I nominated them. I had the opportunity to volunteer my services for a short time, which was longer, and so forth. And indeed, they are truly giving people. They don't care about getting paid or anything. They care about the community. And they are a nonprofit too, which I think is wonderful. They have a lot of special things. If people have needs, they do special shopping for them. They do Christmas dinner for anybody who wants to come, no cost whatsoever. And that is wonderful. And like you mentioned, after school, a lot of kids come down. I was there during the winter months. She would have hot chocolate, turn on the movie. They would go downstairs, a nice, safe place for them to go. And they do have some other plans that they're doing as well. But they're just community-minded. They're active in all that they do. And she has tons of activities that they're doing for the youth, like you mentioned. And they have no thought about themselves, just the community. And I've known Liz for a very long time. And I just appreciate it. I've served with her with young women before. And she's a joy to be around. And I think that's what the youth know.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Freight, I'm sorry, so the next two that I had on the list, Liz doesn't appear to be with us tonight and Maggie doesn't appear. So same as before, I'm gonna save them for the next go round if everybody's okay with that. They're doing great things, but I don't wanna make you listen to it twice. So Mr. Frazier, another primary example of somebody who I feel fortunate enough, I think it's through social media that you started. Became aware of some of the efforts that we're trying to communicate out into the community, and took me up on the invitation to be able to come in and talk to me. And I have to say, like, I'm always a little bit nervous when somebody makes the appointment, but I'm not quite sure what the thought process or attitude is going to be. But that's the commitment, right? Is you come in, I'm going to make sure I'm my best self, and then we're going to have the opportunity to speak. Not only did you show up with thought process of things that you wanted to share that from your perspective could be better, should be better, but then you also came not just simply with a list of what could and should be better, but you came with recommendations in regards to how that could happen, and even a level of commitment to how you can help us make that happen. And so bottom line is that we're still working through things, but it's that kind of thing. When we're sharing and talking about it, it's not just simply a punchline for us to say better together, but you coming in and doing that is a primary example of what better together looks like, let alone anything else that'll happen from here going from there. So thank you. I saved the best line for you. I should have saved it for the greater group. But bottom line is all of you guys are an example of what better together could look like. And this is just the beginning of what I'm hoping that we're going to be able to not only highlight, but also continue to do and build upon for this community. Because we do, all of us, I don't need to preach to you guys. We'll talk a little bit about that more later. But the bottom line is we've got real problems, right? All of us do. We're personal, communal, and national. And the answer to those problems are what we do together to address those things. And you guys are examples of how we're starting that and then how we're going to build on it. So thank you all.
Thank you.
So I kind of alluded to it earlier. I said that we'd give you guys a little bit of an opportunity. Up front here, we have a sign-in sheet. If you haven't had the opportunity to sign in, if you've been here before and signed in before, then by all means, I think we have your information captured. I usually take that information and utilize it as a means to continue conversations with us when we're done with this. If you're willing to, even if you don't feel like writing it down, I have business cards up here. If you're willing to take a business card with me and just sit with you and just send me an email, then that can continue whatever dialogue that we'll have going forward from here. It doesn't matter if the conversation's hard. If you're willing to meet and you're willing to talk and be respectful, then I'm willing to be able to sit there and have those conversations with you. And I'd ask for your willingness to be able to share with me individuals that we can recommend in the future to be recognized here. Make sure that we're aware of it so we can take care of them. With that being said, I'm going to transition to the next portion of our journey here today. The intent here is to be able to talk a little bit about how far we've come. Sorry, I didn't bring the right glasses with me. I'm not trying to suggest when you're looking at what's up here to say that everything or anything on here is currently in its perfect state, or that I'm suggesting that we don't have a lot of work to do in each of them. But what I will say is that since we've been here, the city has put a lot of effort in, and I'm going to touch on, I'm trying to do it briefly, but I'm going to touch on each of the topics that are up here currently. When it comes to streets, and Kyle, where are you at? Okay, if you want to jump in on it, feel free. The bottom line is Kyle, our Public Works Director, you'll hear from him more a little bit later. It didn't take much for me to recognize when I came into the community that we had some problems with our streets and roads. But he made sure that I made it forefront an effort in communication with the council to make sure that we were taking proactive steps to do the best that we could in order to address that. And he's going to talk a little bit more about that, and we'll explain a little bit more details on that a little bit later in the presentation. It's not about that we have a perfect cure in place yet, although I will say we've made a lot of progress in the last few years as I'm understanding it, because of extra money that we were able to get. We're looking to try and keep that momentum going, and that's some of the stuff that we'll talk about later. His desire and his team's desire is to serve the community as good, if not better, than it's been getting historically. As far as housing is concerned, fairly recently we held a housing production community roundtable. I would argue it was successful. One of the larger roundtable turnouts that we've had. The conversation was excellent. It was opportunity for us to share information. It was literally a conversation. We weren't there just simply talking at you like I am right now. We were actually able to dialogue and talk about what we're going to do going forward. Some of the things that have come from that as well, not just from that we've been working on. Fairly recently, you'll see this at the next city council meeting. We're going to actually put to the council some waiver options that we will be able to utilize to help make development of housing within Grande cheaper, less expensive, in order to incentivize developers to do more building. Simultaneously, we're working on other ideas to further help incentivize. One of the concerns that we have in regards to that incentivization is, like, for every good thing that we do, there's always something that somebody else doesn't necessarily like or approve of in regards to that effort. One of those answers, or one of those continuing issues is, of course, the fear that we're making perceived wealthy people more wealthy on the backs of lesser fiscally inclined people. What I can tell you is that we all have to do our part, and we have to get the people that are willing to do the work to do the work. And so, as much as I would like to be able to level the bubbles and make sure that everybody is getting exactly the same, the bottom line is we got to do what we have to do in order to be able to make sure that we're getting stuff built so that our community can have what it needs. And we're building the foundation, no pun intended, to be able to do that in housing development. I think and I feel and believe that on the horizon, we're going to be able to see some significant housing actions take place. As far as grants are concerned, I haven't put this out publicly yet. You'll see something going out. Today is an example, though. Just today, we found out that we got a $50,000 grant approved through Ford Family Foundation to help us with our economic development efforts. That may not sound like a big chunk of money, but it's huge to us. The work that goes into trying to get those grants, and those are just one of several, the work that goes into getting those grants, finding them, let alone getting them, is significant in and of itself. And we're doing more and more work to try and get more and more grants to help try and create more and more relief, which is something that we're going to talk about a little bit further later. And what I say by relief is relief on the general fund, which is where the predominant, not only, but predominant problems are that we have as a city. You guys, you heard me talk about it. If you're not already aware, we're doing as much civic engagement as we possibly can. Whether it's one-on-one, if you're willing to call me and ask me to come and talk to you, that's civic engagement, and I'll come and talk to you, and we'll talk about what you want to talk about. Be careful with the question you ask, though. If you haven't noticed, I can talk on it. But I'm willing to talk as long as you need to in order to make sure that you can feel adequately and transparently informed, because we're not going to hide anything from you. I'm going to do the best I can to make sure you never feel that way. Aside from the roundtables, which we're doing topic specific, and we'll talk about a few of those that are coming up a little bit later, but we're doing topic specific things that we think, feel, and know that the community has indicated to us that they want to talk about. And when we show up to those environments, the only thing we talk about is that topic. so that we're making sure that we're adequately addressing it for how you want to talk about it. For FTI, that stands for Fiscal Transformation Initiative. If you have the opportunity to see any of our previous community town halls, we've talked about that quite a bit, and I'm willing to talk about it a lot more if that's what it takes and needs. But bottom line is the fiscal reality. If you haven't, I'm guessing you all are aware of it, but the fiscal reality of our community, of our state, of our nation has shifted significantly in the last few years. And I would have to argue it's gotten more acute in the last year, and it's going to probably get even more acute in the near future. And I think sometimes when we're talking about problems, it's easy to think that the city isn't aware of that and we're ignoring it. And that we're just simply blazing forward in regards to what we think we need to do in order to preserve the employees that we have. What I can say is I would argue that's an oversimplification, and that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, because whatever you see as bodies is also services being provided to the community. Now, there's always room for us to improve, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, unless you want to take us deeper into that. CSRI stands for Community Service Readiness Index. Community Service Readiness Index is a platform that we're creating so that we can utilize in future town halls, where we'll be able to simplistically talk to you about the service expectation that you have to be provided for the community, the level of quality to which we are providing that service, and then what the resource requirement is to provide it. And so if we're not performing at the level that we want, you're going to be able to quickly and easily see at either the 30,000 foot view, or we can take it in future iterations to the wave top view, or in the best case scenario, if you want to go there, we can go into submersive, and we can talk about it at a very granular level. But what I want to do is create, or what we want to do, is create a tool that makes it so we can communicate the way you want to communicate and understand at the level that you want to understand. Because some people want the details, some people just want the 30,000 foot view, and we're creating a mechanism to make sure that you can access it, see it yourself, and we can meet and talk about it in quarterly town halls. It's taking longer to develop than we want. I hope that we'd have it done by now, but we're not there yet. And I feel optimistic that before the year's out, we'll see it. You guys will see it at a community town hall. Economic development. So I mentioned the grant that we got earlier. One of the things that is true is our economic development plan was everything I'm telling you is true. The last time that the economic development plan was authored was, correct me if I'm wrong, Timothy, 2010?
Correct.
2010 was when it was built. And at the time it was built right, and it was built for what the community understood and knew about what it needed for the future in order to be able to get it better. What I can tell you is the economic woes that we have in the Grande right now, my assessment, is that we are taxed to death. And it is incredibly expensive and horrible to think about how true that is. What I can also tell you is the only way that we can cure the problem that you're seeing from taxation is for us to economically develop. And the way that we economically develop is not by staying the way we are. We have to change. We have to be willing to grow in some way, shape, or form. And we're in the process right now of authoring what that's going to look like. And when I say author it, I'm not saying Timothy and I are going to sit in a room and author it. You're going to have every opportunity to contribute to the authoring of it. And we will develop the plan that the Grande wants so that we can move it where it needs to go and make sure that you're not going to forever be taxed to death. The way we control that is to develop. And we're in the process of building that out right now. And more information will be communicated in regards to the opportunities for you to help us author it. My hope is that people will show up, people will contribute, and that you'll have the opportunity to do the best that we can for what the Grande needs and to cure what ails us. Downtown, for supporting business and revitalization. We're doing a lot of work. I know that you've seen and heard different things. There's a lot of erroneous information that's out there in regards to urban renewal and what it does and doesn't do and who got what, who didn't get it, or the kinds of people that get it. What I can tell you is the only way you can really know what's going on is if you're willing to come and talk to us. And what I can tell you is you might be pleasantly surprised to find out that it's not what you thought it was, and you'd be also more surprised to realize just how much urban renewal has actually prevented you from having to pay more taxes. Even though at first contact it might seem differently at that. So what I would encourage you to do, we can talk about it in depth today if you want to take me there later today, or we can arrange a round table and we can talk about it there and then too. But my ask would be to be willing to at least give me the benefit of the doubt now when I say, it's been amazing, we've done great things, and we can do even more great things, but rather than sit back and have an opinion without having talked to us, come and talk to us, and we'll help you know. Good things are happening, and have happened, and better to come. So that's some of the stuff that's happened in the year that I've been here. Well, all right, urban renewal goes way back before me, but I'm going to take credit for it.
John, before you move on, can you come back just 1 second? On the economic development, do you have a particular, when you say attracting investment and jobs, are there certain particular types of businesses that you're looking at, or factories, or what type of, who are you attracting?
So I'm going to it's going to seem like I'm evading a little bit when I say this. What I would say is that that's why we're writing this plan, to make sure that we're going after what this community is willing and wanting to have. Up till now, we've done the best that we can to attract with what our current, so one of the challenges with trying to bring any kind of business in, let's say Costco, for example. If we wanted to bring Costco into here, they've got their own whole analysis program that they go through in order to decide whether or not they think it's financially worthwhile for them. For us as a community, in order to, I'm sorry, I'm losing my talking faster than my head can think. In order for us to figure out how to get people here, we got to show that our community is worth them investing into in order to come out here. So the truth is, there's nobody that we can't talk to or try to get to come here. What's stopping it from happening is, if whether you're aware of it or not, our population is declining. And the fact that we're declining is suggestive of not good business, and therefore they're not as interested. But what we have to do, and that's part of this economic development plan, is we have to show them we're worth investing into, because we're going to need them to help us grow. We're going to need houses for them to fill. We're going to need a community that looks attractive for them to want to come here. There's so many different competing factors. And so that, not to oversimplify the answer, what I would say is we want what Grande wants for itself as far as industry to be here, but we also have to, at some point in time, be willing to accept that if we want cheaper for ourselves, we got to be willing to invite growth. And of course, the biggest argument that I hear regularly is we don't want to be Ben. Well, we're going to do everything we can to make sure we're not Ben. But what I can also tell you is we've got to grow if you want life to get cheaper for you. Or let me rephrase that. We're never going to make it cheaper than it is right now. But what we can do is slow how fast it's getting more expensive. And then hopefully catch your pay up to where it feels more livable. And that is part of our economic development. That is our goal. We're going to achieve that. It's not going to happen overnight, but we're going to achieve it. Is that adequate? All right. Let's see. So before we go any further, I want to talk a little bit more about, this is a little bit in the economic development range. Before I share with you what my assessment is of current city services and how well I think that we're doing and performing, even though you got a little bit of that on the previous slide, I would like, if you're willing to talk about it, I would like to ask you, how do you think and/or feel that we're doing as a city? And please don't feel like because we're in this forum that I want you to speak nicely. Like, what I want you to do is speak truth. I just ask that you speak truth respectfully. If you have a thought process and you're willing to do it, tell us, do you feel like streets and roads are a problem? Is anybody here that thinks streets are great? Here's one. That's fair, that's fair. What about, all right, I'm gonna kick the hornet's nest when I say this. What about sidewalks?
More, we need more.
What's that?
We need more of them.
We need more sidewalks? Okay. How about the ones we have already? Are they good?
They're getting better.
They getting, all right. All right, are you just saying that to help me feel good? What about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, my neighborhood was built in the '70s and they decided to be cheap and didn't put sidewalks in. It's
Oh.
horrible. Yeah.
That's, I would love to hear more about that.
You know, Sunny Hills sort of deal, the suburbs.
Oh, no, thank you, that's great. So I would take from what you said is you're trying to sound positive, but you're saying it could be better.
Yeah, it could be. Sidewalks are lovely.
I appreciate that. Go ahead. Thank you.
Years ago, there was a program called Union County Fit Kids that I was a part of, and our effort was to get more sidewalks leading towards the schools, because kids were walking in the streets, and I personally used to walk to work up on campus and get off at 5:30 at night and be walking in the dark. And so unfortunately, I don't remember exactly what our system was for raising funds for that, but there were several new stretches of sidewalk put in. This was a long time ago. And somebody behind me just said, complete sidewalks, because you have half a block that's got a sidewalk.
That's
and
my
there's no
neighborhood.
sidewalk.
The sidewalk goes to my driveway and then it stops in my neighbor's yard.
Oh, right.
Has no sidewalk. It just doesn't make much sense, and I'm sure it has to do with the zoning at the time the houses were put in there, but.
Yeah, that could be a factor, but there's probably, like,
Can we highlight the Safe Routes to School program and their initiative, though, to continue what sounds like the effort you started to get the funding that we have now out in Greenwood and now for Central to have at least a continuous path and in places that we didn't have before. So I do want to highlight that.
It's better. It would.
Marginal.
yeah. You want to add anything into this? Well, the one thing I will say, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, you also have some of those communities like Sunny Hill. They have curbs and stuff that are like completely friendly. They do not have sidewalks, but sometimes it's based on when it was built and quality.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I know this is a little off topic, but, I see on some streets a bike lane, and I like to ride my bike, and I was, wondering if there would ever be possibly ever have a bike,
Like that?
a bike path, yes.
No, I love that. That's great feedback. And believe it or not, it's not a new piece of information. And I don't say that to be flippant. What I can say is yes, we want to continue to improve and make things better. But like everything costs money. And there's a lot of different nuances, and every single one of those nuances compete with each other. Just to simply do a simple act, let alone anything else that it might be competing against of another simple act that is not related in any way, shape, or form, seemingly unrelated. So, agreed. Something that we need to do. You'll see this a little bit later in regards to sidewalks. I a couple weeks ago posted on Facebook asking the community if they knew, and then put up information in regards to, I should say social media, it wasn't just Facebook, that they knew that the ordinance in Grande actually makes it so that the adjoining property owner is actually financially responsible for the care and maintenance of the sidewalks. Thinking that I was just, I don't know, I guess being interesting, I will share with you that in the time that I've been here, I've posted a few different things that have done fairly well as far as the amount of comments, reactions, or interactions that have come from it. The single greatest reaction that I've gotten so far was, if you haven't seen it, we posted about goats that were out doing fire suppression activities for us. Far and away, thank you, Danny. Far and away, that was well over almost 27,000 interactions as a result of that one post. The next closest one that comes behind it by 10,000 behind, number 2, is sidewalks. The third behind that is streets and roads at about 16,000. Everything else is a distant 4th and 5th. And so clearly the community has some strong thoughts and feelings on it. And that's why we're going to do, at least, I'm not going to do anything about the goats except keep bringing them out. But as far as the sidewalks, that's why we're holding the round table. Because we're going to talk about that. Because as much as we may not like the different nuances associated with the topic, the bottom line is it's a community decision that needs to be made, a community dialogue that needs to occur. And then we together have to solve the problem, because the city doesn't have a trove of money that we can pull out and go out and fix the problem. But I do think there's a path forward where we can accomplish that together and minimize how much financial impact that is on the community. But that's going to take time and effort and collaboration.
Just a real quick question. So I understand that the property owner is responsible for the maintenance and replacement, all that. Is that hold true downtown?
Yes.
Okay, so along Adams Avenue, whoever owns the property, whoever has the building next to that sidewalk is responsible for that sidewalk?
Unless I'm saying something wrong, Kyle, you want to correct me?
No, that's the maintenance and care of those sidewalks are.
But yes,
how much it would in properties.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. But I would love to hear what you have to say on it if you want to talk about it.
On a broken sidewalk in front of one of the businesses downtown a couple years ago, landed on my face. Had to go to the emergency room. I wish I would have known. I could have got a lawyer or something.
Well, if we owned it, you could do that too, but I'm not encouraging it. But thank you, I think. All right, so we've touched 2 fairly good topics. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would just say that on the bicycle thing, so it's illegal to ride on the sidewalks downtown, but then there's no safe place to ride the bicycle downtown. So it's like I bring my kids downtown to ride my bikes, and there's no safe place to be. So I think that kind of stuff is a lack of foresight on the community, and say like at least having the downtown strip have something that is a safe limit.
Make a great point. I appreciate
I just avoid downtown.
Actually, you know, that's about something to think about, which, what I was thinking about was using our alleyway system more for bicycle or pedestrian business things. And I think like when we're talking about taking bikes downtown and improving our pedestrians or our pedestrian access throughout town, we are also talking about our economic development, because our downtown relies on people getting out of their vehicles and going downtown with the family and being on foot, being on bicycle, having places to park bicycles, having places to ride bicycles. So it all comes together. I think one of the things, I kind of have a special interest in sidewalks and bicycles, and our sidewalks being the responsibility of the property owners. That's something that I think changed codes throughout the years, because we have these really beautiful sidewalks that have been incredibly durable, that were built from like 1911 to 1914. And the problem with those sections of sidewalks is not that they need to be replaced, but that they desperately need to be leveled. And that's a family wage job right there. Somebody that could come into LeGrande and specialize in leveling our antique historical sidewalks. So it all is to me, it ties together. And then finishing the paths that we've started as well, and delegating where do we want to place the cost of doing these things.
love that you contributed to that, thank you. And for what it's worth, I agree, and we need to figure out what that path forward's going, no pun intended again, what that path forward looks like.
John, can I just jump on the back of Karen's comment? That just so coordinates with all the ADA awareness is the sidewalks, you know, so it's hand in glove conversation. Yeah, it really is.
I'm a little bit hesitant in some of this because there are a lot of nuances that are problematic in regards to that particular corridor. One of those that most people aren't necessarily aware of is that road is actually owned by DOT. So our ability to do certain things are more limited. There is going to be some improvement to ADA stuff there over the next year, 2 years. That DOT is, in fact, I think as a result of a lawsuit, reprioritized how they were spending money, and they're going into these communities that they own now and are going to improve structures associated with ADA access on roads. And so over the next couple of years, it's not today, but over the next couple of years, you will see improvements in that way with ADA.
So that's a different budget than your budget? It's Department of Transportation?
That's
same
Department
kind
of Transportation, yes.
Can we collaborate with ODOT, like, let's say they have to redo part of the street, sidewalk curb. So to be able to allow, more room, because it is crowded. The sidewalks have been extended out. You could push them back to the same size they used to be back in the day. Create a bike path there. Or something like
The short answer to that is it's never wrong for us to have a conversation about seeing how we could make something like that happen. What I would say is that the cost associated with that, and ODOT's already struggling to, like, they're doing what they're doing because they're being forced to do it, and then there's complaints coming into ODOT right now about what's not getting done because of the fact that they're now doing, we even had work that they were supposed to be doing prior to that lawsuit, right? Something to do with the bridge? Can you explain that? Better than I can.
It was just a profile drawing, so they were supposed to come in and redo the surface of Adams Avenue, but they lost the ADA lawsuit. The funds that were put toward the SNP back there were historically.
I'm sorry, I can't hear him. So ultimately what he's saying is that there was work that ODOT was supposed to come in and do that would have improved the quality of the drive on the road. They were scheduled and planned to do that, but because of the lawsuit, that took the funding away that they had in order to do that, in order to fix the ADA problem. And I think we could probably all agree that the ADA access needed to be addressed, but rightfully so, other people are upset about what's not getting fixed now on that street. And most people think, well, it's running through the Grande, so that means we're not doing a very good job. When in all reality, it's not our pot to, and we can talk to them about it, but we're not the only ones that are complaining to them about what is or isn't getting done. And so at some point in time, they just tune us out because they're just going to do what they can do the best that they can with what they have as well. That was what he was ultimately getting at. Go ahead.
I work for ODOT, and I work for the Region 5 manager, so I'm really aware of all of Highway 30 going straight through town. And also with all of the handicapped requirements for all the curves. And ODOT gets their funding from the feds. They're broken down into baskets. So it's really hard. I mean, it'd be nice if that could be done, but I don't think it'd ever be done on Adams Avenue, just because they're trying to get bike paths in other areas that are more doable. In our downtown, we have very narrow roads. If you go to Baker's got beautiful wide streets. LeGrande's not structured that way. So for them to be able to do anything, and they're trying to get the money from the feds and this whole STIP coordinator and stuff, we'll be lucky if they can grind the road down and make it smooth for us.
Yeah.
And then whether that's gonna happen or not, we don't know. There's a lot of changes going on at ODOT.
Yep.
There's a possibility we may not even have, they'll combine Region 5 and Region 4 together with their budget constraints. So the state's really in a pickle. So
Absolutely.
I think just the fact that we're getting ADA
on our corners,
Yeah.
we have the.
Yeah, no, you're 100%, like, again, like, thank you for sharing that. That's another prime example of how so many different things compete with each other, and where we're relying on them to do something, they're relying on federal, and something that you didn't say, and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, as I'm understanding it, the federal is withholding money now, because Oregon politics isn't good with the current administration. So therefore, we're paying a price, I mean, it was already bad, now it's worse, because they're trying to force us into their political compliance by withholding funds to keep us from doing it. And that's not the only way they're doing it, too. I'm going to be real. I just learned last week. So if you guys paid attention to the budget hearings, in our budget hearings, one of the things we had to make a very hard decision to do, with the intent to pursue grants, was to cut a police officer position. We originally started out with 2. We ended up being able to fix it so that we could only cut 1, with the desire to be able to, because we were trending in a direction that it looked like we were going to get this grant that was going to help us bring the position back and make it so we could continue. Well, we found out this last week that the federal government is going to attach with that requirements where we have to let ICE come in and do whatever they want in our community. If we, I'm just a messenger. So if we now sign the dotted line and agree to allow that to happen, then we can get the grant. If we don't sign the line, which now means it's actually already, for me to sign the line, or for the mayor to sign the line, that's in conflict with Oregon law. So we would get in trouble if we signed the dotted line to get the grant money to solve the problem of a police department that genuinely, desperately needs more personnel to solve the problems that we're having in our community. Simultaneously, we're struggling to pay for the police officers that we have. Not because some people might argue differently, not because they're overpaid, but because in order to get people to want to come and work for our police department, we got to pay them competitively. And close by, nearby, other agencies are paying more than we're paying, so we're losing them to higher paying organizations. And on top of that, we're trying to get a grant that we can't now, for problematic reasons, can't get. So the bottom line is the problem's real, right? Go ahead.
Just clarification or just more information. This is not unique to LeGrand, and we have this conversation in our office. I don't know how many people follow politics or things outside of LeGrand, but Vancouver, Washington, which is a fairly large town, probably 160, they're having the same problem with their police force.
Yep. They
don't have enough money to hire the police officers they need in their community. And it's not because, I mean,
yeah, it's not a new trend. Like
it's happening everywhere. So we have to find a way to.
I can tell you that I started out as a soldier, but then my first career was as a police officer in Colorado. I worked as a police officer for about 10 years before I left and ended up starting down the path that brought me here. We were struggling to hire police officers back then. Every organization is struggling to hire police officers. What I can tell you is we can find all the reasons to dismiss the problem. I don't think that's what you're doing. What I can tell you is the only way we're going to get anybody is to be competitive. And so we have to do the best that we can. And even though people would like to see us pay less in order to help solve the problem, the bottom line is if there's a choice between being protected and paying more, or paying less, then we're going to choose to protect. And that's both when people, I think, make the mistake of thinking protection is just police. Well, it's police, it's fire, it's also public works. Not to mention that in order for people to feel good about the life that they're living, they need to be able to have access to other critical services that are provided in the library and are provided in parks and recreation. And even though people tend to simplify them into less critical services, the bottom line is, they go away, you're gonna wish they did. Sorry, I didn't wanna make this like a song.
Back to sidewalks, I think they're great. I've lived on a corner for 40 years. We have sidewalk going by, we have a lot of college students go by, we have to walk their dog. We sit out on the front porch a lot when the weather's nice, and everybody's friendly when they're walking on a sidewalk. And really, we sit around and we get a sense of unity. Now, 10 or 20 years ago, the city a lot of times would come by, and if we had a root raising a sidewalk block, they'd paint that, and he'd get a thing in the mail, say you need to fix it. And we can have somebody do it for whatever, many thousands. I would like, the little pinch was that there were people in much nicer homes with much nicer incomes that didn't have sidewalks in town and didn't have to pay what we did. So I thought it'd be nice if, we could brainstorm maybe some more equitable way so the whole city was able to chip in for this greater good.
I love where you're headed at, and I really, really hope you come down and you contribute to the roundtable conversation that will be on August 19th at 6 p.m. at the Cook Library.
And where?
At the library, in the large community room, because I think we're gonna have a turnout.
Say that date once more.
19 August, and then we'll also put it up on it'll be up on the thing here in a little bit. Go ahead, you first.
Yes, just a thought that in Tucson, Arizona, in residential neighborhoods, they have what are actually walkways rather than sidewalks that are not cement, but level and walkable, and anyway, it's something to look at.
No, thank you. I appreciate
So it's
it.
a much more affordable way to get safe pedestrian and bicycle transit in residential areas without having the huge cost of putting in the concrete. I can give you more information on that.
I would love that if you would, please. And I will say, in that same vein, I shared with you some things we're doing to try and make it cheaper for developers, which usually have to front some of that cost as well. And stuff that we're doing now in today's time. We're also working on several other things, but they're too early for me. Like I could probably talk about it a little bit, somewhat intelligently, but it's not vetted well enough for us to figure out how we'd even employ it, but it's opportunities to help us gain some additional monies that would help us solve those problems. This is a perfect example though of dialogue, right? You have an idea, share it with me. It's something we made. I wish we knew it all. I wish we could figure it out all for ourselves, but that might be the difference between success and failure, just your willingness to share that with us. And I promise you, we will vet it. Go ahead.
John, I'm just curious if you and Mayor Rocco have considered a response if the government wants to bring in data centers or detainment centers to hold people in our community. Have you thought about and discussed your reaction and your response to that? Do they want to bring those two things in our community?
So I would not be willing to speak on. So first to the answer is no, he and I have not talked about it, nor have I actually had that conversation with any of the other counselors either. What I would say is that the best answer that I think would be smart for me to give is that what we have to do is have a community conversation on the topic and then make decisions in that way. And when we come to the table, the city, we would come to the table with our own analysis of the good and bad, and then what we would think is our recommendation for the community conversation. While at the end of the day, the decisions that we would make would be on what we glean is a combination of is in the best interest of the community and what the majority of the community wants. But what I can also say is 51% and 49%, it feels like whichever side is yelling at you is about the same amount of people. And so it's incredibly hard to find what people genuinely, what we can all agree enough on in order to move forward. I don't need to tell you, the appealing part of something like that would be, it would probably help economically. But there would be a whole long list of other downsides that would come with that. And so that's where the conversation has to come in. So agreed, needs to be talked about, and I owe you to make sure that we do.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a couple of quick comments. One of the major sidewalk projects that happened, for example, on Spruce Street with all the yellow ramps and stuff like that, that gives people the impression that sidewalks are not their responsibility when we have big projects like that. It's easy to get the impression.
So I love that you're saying that.
Okay, let me finish. On roads, I'm in a minority position, I recognize that, but I think potholes are a cheap way of doing some traffic calming.
Some traffic what?
I think one of our huge problems in the city is aggressive driving.
Oh, I appreciate that, thank you.
And I know this is not a majority position, but that's my take.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. I'm gonna smile, but I'm not gonna give an opinion on whether I agree or not.
So I put some trees in the right of way, and the tree person said, this is a good tree, let here, won't get too big, because got too big, two of them, I buckled the sidewalk. So even if I fix the sidewalk, if the tree keeps growing, it's gonna keep buckling the sidewalk, so it doesn't seem like real good, there doesn't seem like there's a good answer.
I agree with you. Can I ask you who was the person you spoke to and how long
It was
ago?
like almost 20 years ago.
So that's the difference between then and today. I can tell you, and Stu, you can speak about it more intelligently than I can, but I can tell you the person that we have on board today is making sure that that doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, the problem needs to be solved today, right? It was created, we need to deal with it. And I would like for us to talk about that at the round table deeper. I don't have a perfect solution, but I want to get you one.
That's in August.
Yeah, August 19th, yes.
Okay, perfect.
And look, while we're on that, if August 19th isn't working for the majority of the people, we're just throwing darts, picking times that and the times of day that we think are gonna work. If you tell me when and where you want to do it, we'll come and talk to you, even if it means we're coming out and talking to just you. If you want to help us organize a community event to talk about it at a different place and time, then I'm up for that too. I just need to know where you guys want it, and then we will, best as we're feasibly capable of, we will make it happen.
Got a question for you. So do we have a program here where people can buy a tree from the city and have it planted? So like that big tree that's 20, 30, 40 years old, can be removed, and then the city will come and plant it.
I'm sorry, did you say yes?
Yes.
Okay. Did I say anything wrong, Stu?
No.
All right. I love that we're having this much rich conversation. Is there anything else besides sidewalks that we need to talk about from here? Yes, go ahead.
Well, just in the future, when you talk about bringing groups of people together to talk, I would love to see sort of bottom up of business leaders in our community talking about ADA instead of top down, please, just like, hey, let's hear from you, like a bottom up conversation with business leaders about ADA. I would love that, John.
I'm 100% on board with that, and I'm good with us. I think we've tried to schedule a couple of different events.
Yeah, and I had to back away from some of that, and I appreciate all that we have done, but I would just say, it was me asking, but if it was a community and a business leaders conversation, and they say their piece, I would love that.
I love that you're bringing that up. I'm okay with running the lead on making these things happen, or our team running the lead on making these conversations take place. What I can say is it's not limited to us. Like I recognized Dr. Davenport for earlier, if you're willing to come and say this is a community thing that we want to talk about, I think she would say, I partnered well with her to try and help make that come to fruition. And there are reasons why it didn't, but it wasn't because the city was unwilling to help make that happen.
It was my physicality. We had a great conversation. We're moving forward as a great team.
Yeah, exactly. So if there are things that you want to talk about in the community that you feel like, the more people helping us have the conversations that are necessary, the better. Because I can, and I'm not meaning to sound like I'm getting overly protective here, but we are not deep, and it may seem like that when you look at our budget. When you look at just the numbers, it may feel like we're deep. Most of our sections are 1 to 2 personnel deep, and taking that 1 to 2 personnel away makes that service go away. And by the way, because there's only 1 or 2 people doing that job, it's the ability to add more work to them to get things done is limited. So I can tell you that I'm putting a lot of time and energy, not just a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, all right, 8:30 to 5, a window of time on a day-to-day basis. I myself am working till 9 and 10 o'clock at night on most nights in order to be able to do the different things that need to be done. I get a lot of criticism about, does this guy do anything other than get on social media? No, I don't. I mean, yes, I do a lot more. But I do most all of that at night. And my wife would probably tell you she's sick of me doing it. But what I can tell you is I don't know another way to get to the community than the way that you tell me to come to you. And right now, the way the community's saying do that is through social media. All of my team puts in a crazy amount of hours in order to do just the work that they have on a normal basis, let alone the surge effect that's coming from this work that's being done right now. So the more of you that are willing to become a part of helping us facilitate and make those conversations happen, I'll do everything I can to be there with you while you're doing it. I'll occasionally bring some of my team to be a part of it as well. But all you got to do is be willing, and again, better together. If you're willing to help us, help me help you. Go ahead.
I have another comment, with public works. When it comes to the sidewalks, the portions that are actually in the right of way, there is a program, where the business owner or the homeowner can actually finance it
Oh,
with the
yeah.
city.
Yes, go ahead. When you
Our local improvement district. So anybody in the city that has a sidewalk in the right of way can have their sidewalk repaired, have new sidewalk, and we can finance that through the city. And you have up to 10 years, we can finance that through the city.
Up to 10 years, and it's a competitive interest rate. And just so you know, and you think that the city's looking to try and make money, we're legally obligated to, we can't undercut banks. If we do that, we get in trouble. So when you get upset about the fact that the city's charging an interest rate, it's not because we want to, it's because, well, all right, I'm not gonna be upset about the fact we make a little bit of money. But the reality of it is we can't undercut banks. And so, but what I can say is we're competitive with them. Go ahead.
You could save money for those homeowners if it was less expensive to have the cement work done. That's where it seems like it's too much money.
100% agree. I really want to try and as I'm just going to sound like I'm being dismissive to you, and I'm not trying to be. I promised you I was going to try and keep you to 90 minutes, and we've probably taken almost 30 minutes just talking about sidewalks. I didn't realize that. When am I going to learn? Stop talking about sidewalks. I agree with what you're saying. I would ask, please, let's talk about this further at the community roundtable so that we can vet it better and we can continue to move forward. And we'll have more than one of them in order to make sure we're actively working towards the solution that the community wants and the community needs. But it's going to take time and it's going to take effort and a willingness to contribute in order for us to get there. On our own, we've already come up with ideas of how we can get after that as well to try and help, especially from some of the feedback that we're getting. But what I don't want to do is create the situation where it looks like the city's saying this is what you're going to do. What I want to do is give you the opportunity to be knowledgeable about what's being talked about, and then together we decide what we're going to do to deal with it. And that's not just on sidewalks, that's on any topic. Go ahead.
I have a question about what your threshold is for success. Like, I know you put in the hours, you sat down with me and talked. What are you measuring your definition of success? I mean, you're talking about sidewalks and roads, and it's obviously a passionate subject, but then you're talking about police department that's setting one staff member because you can't fund it. Are you looking to, I mean, we can hold roundtables for the next year and a half. What's the tangible, measurable goal that you are expecting as a city manager? Are we gonna go 3 bienniums because we have a federal government that changes their mind and we're not aggressive enough at our state level? I know if I put my kid in school, they show me tangible results. Hey, you should graduate. We expect 90% graduation rate. I expect your kid to read, write, and math. I've worked with Parks and Recs. He does a project a year. I mean, what's your threshold? What is measuring your success?
Thank you for asking that question. I would say that my measurement for success is going to be when you can feel that, when I can start getting a feeling from the community, not that we've fixed everything perfectly, but that you can tell that you can trust that we're doing the best that we can. And then in the best case scenario, that you actually start seeing results coming from that. There is no problem that we've talked about tonight that we don't have the ability to fix. The question is what are we willing to do in order to fix it? And whether or not you're going to be mad at me because of whether or not we get it fixed, or whether or not you're going to be willing to accept that some problems, it's like if the choice between, I'm guessing people stream, if your income allows you to have 10 platforms that you stream from, and suddenly your finances are reduced, or the costs go up so much that you can't afford all 10, you're going to choose which 9 you're going to have. That's what we do on a day-to-day basis. So my measure of success is are you feeling like you trust the community? And I'm getting a sentiment that, the city, and I'm getting a by and large sentiment that we're trustworthy, because there's always going to be some that don't trust no matter what. But my desire is to make sure you're heard, that you can see that we do something with what you say, and that in the best case scenario, we actually solve the problem that you're asking us to solve. That would be my measure, is in tiered. First is, do you feel heard? Second is, do you trust us? And then third, did we solve the problem that you're asking us to solve? And I believe the answer to all of those questions can be yes, but I can also tell you it's not going to happen with just me or just my staff. It's going to happen, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound possessive. They're people. We work together. I believe we're very collaborative, but we're not going to solve the problem as just us. It's going to be us that solves the problem. And we all got to know the difference between I don't like the options and I have to choose the option I'd like most of the least choices. Did that make sense? And so the desire here is just simply to get you what you want, and then in the best case, or in the worst case scenario, accept what can't be done. A best example might be the streets and roads. We're talking about it, and you'll see a little bit more up here in a little bit. We're talking about the different options that the city has. Like I promise you, no problem is as simplistic as you want to think or believe that it is. It just isn't, and I'm willing to share with you the why behind that if you're willing to talk about it. But if you show up and all you say is, this is the only possibility of what the dynamics can be, and you're not willing to hear the truth of the dynamics, well then there's not a lot of quality conversation that can take place. But if you're willing to dialogue on it, I'm willing to share with you, and I'm willing, I want you to say, hey, this right here, it looks like to me that you could have done that better. And I'm gonna be like, you're right, I could have done it better. Or we might have to agree to disagree. But I'll make sure you understand why I don't agree with you. And I'll make sure that you can walk out feeling like confidence that I hear you and that I understand you. But I realize that's not as easy to achieve as we'd all like to believe. I'm going to try and move us along a little bit faster. I love the dialogue, though. What I'm hearing is you guys want to stretch this out to about a 3-hour meeting. You guys good with that? All right, I don't want to either. We talked. We've talked. I think we've loosely talked over several of these topics. Let me get to the more important one. So our path forward. I got everything you heard in our conversation here so far is kind of a piece of what we're doing on the path forward. The bottom line is we're trying to make sure that we're communicating with the community, and the community is able to communicate with us, and that everybody is actually talking about the problems and working together to solve the problems. That's the distilled down version of what I wanted to talk about here in regards to our path forward. We have a plan. It's called the Fiscal Transformation Initiative. We're willing to share it with you. It's on our, I think it's on our, is it on our website already? If it isn't, it'll be on there. If you give me your email, I'll email it to you. One way or another, we're going to do everything we can to make sure you have great confidence that we're doing the best that we can to solve the problem, not just simply for the sake of keeping what we have, but for the sake of making sure you're getting the service that you need and you want, the service that you deserve to have. But what we need is the opportunity to collaborate on it together, because we're not going to solve it for you, but we can solve it together. And we'll take the lion's share of the work involved. One of the things I wanted to touch on is that we hear a lot about, and then I'm going to transition and give you a chance to hear from some other people for a little bit. One of the things that I hear a lot about is that the city is out of touch and doesn't have a clue about how hard it is, because they hear something like gas tax or they hear something about service fee, and they get, rightfully so, they get emotional about the idea of some additional costs. And then the thing that follows behind that is city's out of touch. They don't know and they don't understand. Let me tell you, if you're willing to accept, I live in the same community that you do. I am experiencing the exact same things that everybody else in the community is experiencing. I am as acutely aware of the financial pressures that we're seeing, and I'll argue is ever increasing at an exponential rate right now in our day and age. We are very aware of that. Just like you in your homes would go and do what you have to do, make the tough decisions that you would have to make in order to be able to address those problems, that's what the city has to do too. And most of the time, the choices that you're making aren't even ones that you like making. You're doing it because you have to. And what I can say is the city's doing the same thing. When we put something forward for the community to either be aware of or to consider, we're not doing it because we're trying to cram something down your throat. We're doing it because we hear you want your streets and roads fixed. But we only have so many mechanisms in order to be able to fix that. And we're giving you those options, and not doing it is an option. But what I can tell you is the city isn't giving you those options, or I'm not giving you those options, the council's not giving you those options for the sake of trying to upset you. They're giving you the options to choose what tools are available in order to decide what you want to do going forward. We want to fix the streets and roads. We have the ability to do it if we're resourced to do it. And the fact that we don't have the money isn't because we've spent badly, and I'm willing to show you how that is true. But you got to be willing to ask the question. But we know and understand very fully how hard it is, and I promise you, we will not be angry for anybody or treat anybody poorly because you vote something down or you have a difference of opinion. We're just simply responsible to give you options, and we're doing the best that can that we do that. And we do the best that we can to not bring emotion to that conversation, but sometimes we fail. Just like sometimes you're not probably your best, sometimes we're not. But we have a higher bar of expectation, and rightfully we should. But what I can also say is it's not easy to take the kinds of things that the community sometimes throws back at you. And I'd ask you to understand, and rather than be part of the problem, be part of the solution, because I'm right there with you, and every one of our team members is feeling it as well. And I promise you, we care about solving the problems just like you care about solving the problems, but we just don't have the silver platter.
I haven't been to any of these attendance, so originally somebody's already brought this up, but I've heard of a thing called garden bonds that help with road repair that's funded by the federal government. The city is basically financed, the county or how, I don't know, but it's financed through the government and then it gets paid back over time. Is that something that would be available to us, or are we too, is that only for big cities? Because I've seen like this road project funded by the garden bonds. So is that something that we can tap into, or? I don't even know if you've ever heard of it.
I can say I haven't. Have you heard of what she's talking about?
Not specifically that program, but roadway bonding, selling bonds to the municipality is always an option for us. There's also the infrastructure bank through the state that offers low interest loans.
Right, but the problem is we gotta pay it
We
back.
gotta pay the loans back, and then it's your maintenance money for the rest of the term of the.
So kind of like, I don't mean to sound like I'm oversimplifying it. Kind of like when we talked about the sidewalks and the sidewalk ways you can get financing through the city. It's great if we have a program, can you afford to pay for it? And so, what I would say is, I would love to know more about the specifics of what you're talking about. If you're willing to share that with me, I'd give you my card and you can email it to me or call me. And then I'll make sure I'm looking into it further. Thank you. Anybody else? So what I'd like to do, even though I have them written up here, is I'd like to give all of our, that are here with us tonight, all of our directors, the opportunity to be able to speak with you as well, and or you can ask them questions as well. But I'm gonna ask, even though they're on the list here, that Public Works wait and Parks and Rec after Public Works when they finally speak. So, let's see, community development. Mike Boquist, he's the director for community development. That means he's handling planning. Do you have anything that you'd like to share?
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for planning? That's all things zoning and planning towards future developments in the community. He's the one that actually hosted very successfully our community roundtable on housing. And will probably be a part of 2.0. All right, let's see, economic development, Timothy Bishop. Amazing things have happened just in the year that I've been here working with Timothy, let alone what's on the horizon to happen. He handles everything having to do with economic development, as well as helps manage all things having to do with urban renewal. So if you have any questions for him, or do you have anything you'd like to say?
We talked a little bit about it. I think the big things for us is we are just getting ready to jump into updating our economic development plan. So we actually went out to an RFP request for proposals. In May, we had 19 firms submit proposals. We have selected the consultant we're going to work with. We did just find out today that we received a grant for $50,000 to help cover some of that cost. So we will expect that over the next probably 9 months, we'll go through that planning process. There'll be a number of public meetings, some small focus groups, some one-on-one interviews, really trying to align our economic development plan with where we are as a community and where we as a community want to go. So that's process is just getting underway. I think that's really all I have at the moment. It is getting close to your 7:30.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna rush to 10 more slides in about 3 minutes.
If you have urgent questions, I'll take a question or two, but otherwise I'll let you move on.
Thank you. If no questions, then I'll move to, we'll wait for Public Works. Police. LT, you got anything you want to share with the group?
The chief actually, before he went on vacation, gave me notes and I accidentally shredded them. However, I will brief you guys because
You're good, go ahead.
All right, thanks, chief. I will let you guys know. I'll let you guys know we just had a hiring process. We have 2 positions that are open, and we have 5 candidates that I think would be great ambassadors for the community. So they're all really outstanding. We're moving forward in the hiring process. So the next hurdle for these unfortunate souls is going to be the physical fitness test. So they're going to be sucking land next Thursday. It's tougher than it was. So hoping that moves forward. We do have 1 more position that opened up in dispatch, unfortunately. So we'll try to get that filled as soon as we can. Last month was a busy month for our personnel. They took 1,190 calls for service in June, so that averages about 39 calls a day. And I grabbed one day in particular, June 22nd, between 0600 and 1800 hours, so 6 p.m. That's a patrol shift. They took 29 calls for service, and altogether in the whole day, there was 41 calls for service. And that's anything from trespasses that day to runaways. We had assaults. There was a couple missing persons, elderly person windshield walked away from their house, 9-year-old disappeared from the house for about an hour. We found they came back. So they're staying busy. In between that is follow-up stuff. They're doing extra patrol requests, trying to get these speeders and arrested drivers and whatnot. So they're just staying really busy for you guys, and that's what I got for you. If you have any questions, you can ask, and I'll try to answer them. I've only been in this position for 4 months, so take it easy on me.
And you're doing awesome. Let me ask you, if we hadn't cut the position, we'd have 21 position authorizations, correct?
Correct.
What's your current onboard strength of police officers?
So right now, we're supposed to have 12 for patrol. We have 10. We have 2 that are training right now, so they aren't allowed to be solo. So we got 2 shifts that are short with 2 people. That particular, those stats, that was a 2-person shift that day. So 2 officers going calls, different calls. And like I said, we got 2 in training. And as a top, we got 2 that are probably going to be leading us for anytime named agency here shortly. Hartfield. And so that'll open up 2 more positions for us, so we'll be down essentially 4 positions.
So would it be safe to say the struggle is real?
Yeah, the struggle is real. Especially if I'm putting on a uniform and going out there and having to get sat by my sergeants. So.
Thank you. Let's see, I don't think we have fire with us, go ahead.
I need to go. I didn't expect to have to stay so late, and so
You-
can you bump the Grande Main Street to another meeting?
We can do that, yeah.
Okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
Sorry, everybody. Library, anything you'd like to add?
I mean, that's hard to follow, but books save lives too, so. We're still saving lives. We are around, in this random report, around 5,000 total library card holders, so I think that's really cool for serving the community. And we are at Willing Station right now, so come down and enjoy the AC.
All right, finance isn't with us tonight. We will have, you'll see this up here in a little bit, we are gonna have a city budget, understanding city budget roundtable. I believe it's somewhere in the first, we'll have the date up here, it's somewhere in the early part of September. And then Human Resources is with us, and Stacy, anything from the Recorder's Office?
Yeah, hi, I'm Stacy Stockoff, I'm the City Recorder. On the theme of talking about sidewalks and all the fun things tonight, I don't know if you guys are aware that our LaGrande City Code is online. You can go to cityoflagrande.org, and on the homepage, there will be a button that'll say City Code. You can click on that, it'll take you over to a different website, and you can do keywords like sidewalks. And it'll show everything that's in the code that has to do with sidewalks, for example. So that's where that ordinance for the sidewalks that we talked about earlier lies. So you guys might be able to find some other information that might be interesting to you. So if you have any questions, I do have cards on each side. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. That's all I got.
Unless there's no questions there. I'm gonna try and move us along. I promise you, as time goes on, we're gonna get more efficient at this too. Go ahead. This is Kyle Carpenter, our public works director.
Yes, John gave you the secret signal that we're behind, so we're gonna catch up. You only get the 50-cent tour. So you can go ahead to the next slide, Carrie. So Carrie put together this slide for me, and this is the same list that we've been putting up. We just went in and we made it a little bit better. So as you know, we're moving the way that we do streets from the way we've always done them. If you want to think about it, the city of Grande has always done their street maintenance in kind of what I'm going to call loop. We have streets, we built them, they start falling apart, we go and overlay them, we wait for them to fall apart again, and we do it again. And the problem is we're not fixing those foundational problems in the streets. We're not making sure they have enough base rock, we're not making sure that they have enough drainage. So as we're going through now and repairing these streets, we're doing the right thing. We're trying to make sure that we won't be back before the lifespan of that pavement has really been worth our money. Because if we're gonna spend the money, we're gonna do it right. So this iteration of the list, we've actually went through the budget year 26 projects. We've broken them down into the different categories of what we've got going on. On the top is the projects we've already completed. Honestly, it's not a lot. There's only been 4 blocks this year, and a lot of people are like, hey, why aren't you out there? This year has been incredibly heavy on utilities. We have a lot of water and sewer stuff that our crews have been on. Currently, as you see, the next one there under construction, we're up on 2nd Street where we're trying to get that roadway out in front of the high school and Central done before school starts. We've had a few setbacks opening up, random things like we found a storm line, 36-inch, that was just full of holes on the bottom. So we had to rip that out, not expecting it, and get it replaced. So under construction right there, we're hoping to get our street crew off of that project in the next month and then switch down to this one right below, which says utilities complete, ready to pave. So ideally, by the end of this paving season, we'll be able to hit all of the ones under that 3rd section that say ready to pave. And we'll also get to work on some of those in the bottom part of that section that say funded in current budget, but need further work. And what that means is in a lot of those, we're looking at things like drainage issues, maybe some grind and inlays, just different things that need to be done to make those street improvements be done correctly. Now, the bottom part of the list has stayed the same. These are all roads that we have identified utilizing our old system. So that old system was mainly put together by our staff doing random inspections where we go out every year and we inspect those pavement surfaces. They're also based on complaints or other items where we identify street segments that need to be worked on. These ones we've identified to be put into future years that we're going to be working on them. So you might see people out there repairing utilities, making sure everything under the street is right before we come in and fix the street. This list is also going to change here and there. So recently we've switched to AI inspection. So one of the problems with using our crews is that people are subjective. So you get out there and when you inspect the first street, you're really excited about it. But by the time that you get to the 8th hour of expecting asphalt pavement in 100-degree weather, you make mistakes. AI does not make as many mistakes. The AI technology we use is said to be about 97% accurate when compared to the PCI scores with the Pavement Institute back east. So it's a much more defendable product. It also will have a function where it actually comes in and tells us what types of improvements we're going to be doing. So not only are we just going to be doing overlays, we're going to do inlays, we're going to be doing crack sealing. There's just many methods that we can use. Chip sealing. Bicyclists hate chip sealing, I know, but we have changed the mix so that it's not as bad on bicyclists if you give us a week or two. So that's about it on streets. I'm happy to answer any questions on streets or anything else public works.
Pardon me, is that to be determined on your funding sources, on your priority future projects? I'm just curious about your funding sources above and below that pink line.
Sure.
Is this to be determined?
Yeah, so a lot of our funding sources are pretty pointed. So for instance, the street user fee, which you pay on your water bill, Under our current ordinance, I'm only allowed to use that on streets that are developed to a level 1 service level.
Level 1 service level.
That means it has
I'm not sure
drainage, so it's curbs and gutters. It has to have an asphalt or concrete surface and sidewalks. So basically, north side of town, I can't even use that money, even though they all pay it. So it is the intent, and we're currently in a process where the consultant's reviewing the ordinance to figure out how we can more equitably utilize those funds. This was an ordinance that was put in place in 1985, and they had the foresight of saying, you know, we don't want to spend this money on a street that isn't going to hold up. The problem is it doesn't apply very well to our standards today. So we're in the process of finding a way to more equitably apply the fee and utilize the fee to fix our roads. So we put to be determined just because we don't know which of the funds we're going to use to repair it.
Sources to drop. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So 16th between Gackler and Washington, it's a busy road, no sidewalks. Someone was killed there a few years ago.
Yes.
What's the plan?
So far, the plan was to overlay that section. One of the problems is we've got LID agreements over the majority of it. There's been a lot of construction on there. So there's always the option at the certain point where we break over that curve when we have LID agreements, which again, as Danny mentioned earlier, is the local improvement district. So basically all the properties that line that street have agreed to pay their portion of the street and sidewalk improvements, but we have to have over 51%. We're always looking for federal funds because I can tell you right now, up on 2nd Street, we did 3 blocks and it's going to cost us around $600,000 or $700,000, which is about 2 years of street user fees. And you start looking at the length of 16th from Washington to Geckler, I mean, we're talking a decade and a half if we use street user fees, which is probably our most reliable to put toward a project of that nature. But then again, the ordinance doesn't allow me to use it there because there's no sidewalks, there's no curbs, there's no storm drainage. So it gets a little tricky. We always thought that like 20th Street, maybe we would be able to find a federal grant, a state grant where we could really apply something there. But if you ask me today, I would say the LID process is probably the most likely where we're going to be able to improve it to the level in which you're talking. We do have some money set aside to try and repair. You'll notice we went through and we paved it 2 or 3 years ago from Geckler up until about the old folks home there. We had some developments that was taking place. We drew construction down a little bit further. We knew they were going to cut the road. We did need to make some improvements, so we stopped the paving there with the intent of coming back and finishing out that paved job. It's probably more of a bridge from what it should be to what it was to what it should be. The walking piece is going to always be a problem. I think we're going to try and extend shoulders out a little bit, but there's definitely not going to be that direct visual separation from pedestrian to driver, at least at this point. No visible solution.
Is this scheduled on the city website?
It is on the city website.
And we have copies up here for you if you'd like to take a copy with you.
Yes. Would you like this copy?
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Just a question on your list, because I can't see it that far. Potholes. Is there a plan for like some streets to get potholes, like a certain area, like by the pool? There's a lot of roads that have a lot of potholes.
Yeah, so I know.
It's like designated to get lights or you can have some potholes to make it, so you're not having to replace your teeth, you know, driving on it.
Just slow down. I'm in the minority as well, and I think the traffic calming aspect of our potholes is a wonderful thing. That is genius. 1%. So generally potholing we use as when our crews are working on different projects and we have 1 or 2 guys that is freed up to throw them on a potholing truck and send them out and say turn right or left, just go and find potholes. So where they end up isn't always strategized, but I know everyone in the room knows it's pretty much not hard to find them. You can go straight, left, right, so it's I'll say from a staff perspective, it's rough because you go out and you throw this cold mix in, you compact it, and within 3 weeks the stuff flakes out. Because the way that you honestly need to repair those potholes is saw cutting out or digging down, getting something where it can really firmly grow in there. We have the anticipation of trying different products this year to see if there's other ways that we can actually fill these potholes, but On a lot of them on the south side, if you go just south of Adams, if you're looking at things like Spring or Maine, Washington, you get really shallow potholes where you'll actually see the overlays delaminated, and it's just a 1.5 inch thick pothole. And if you throw pool mix in there and try and compact it, it isn't going to stay. So it's hard to go out and waste the money when we know we're throwing bad money after good. We'd rather just hold the money and go and overlay something or grind and inlay something, fix it right.
So could you use the hot mix like we do, or?
We do use hot mix on occasion. We need more than 2 guys to do it. So you gotta have one in the truck and usually about 2 or 3 behind the truck to be doing that. But we have used hot mix on many times. Usually it's cold patch whenever we get free, because usually 4 guys aren't standing around just looking for something to do most days. Any other questions? All right, I'm gonna pass it on.
So I want to move through the last few slides as best as we can, but I was fearful that it would feel like we quickly went past this when it's actually kind of a sensitive topic. The one thing we'll post these slides on the website, and second, if you give me your email, I'll email them out to everybody tomorrow. But the slide that's here in front of you, you've probably heard some conversation going on in regards to gas tax and the fact that that's very likely to end up on the next ballot for people to vote over. What I can tell you is this slide is intended to show you the options that the city currently has to be able to deploy the potential solutions to get after streets and roads. Any one of those options are a viable way for us to get it. And this gives you some pros and cons. It's not meant to tell you what you should think or what you shouldn't think. It's just meant to give you the option to be able to know and be informed on what the city has as options to solve the problem. And it's up to you as a community to decide which direction you want to go in regards to that. We can provide this slide, and or we can, well, I'll email you the entire slide deck tomorrow if you're willing to give us your email. I promise you I won't sell it too.
Will there be another roundtable on the gas tax?
So, thank you for asking that. Because of Oregon law, we have very limited ability to have conversation about it. And really, basically August 14th, right?
It will be at the council meeting, which will be August 5th.
So August 5th, the council's gonna make a decision on whether or not it's gonna hit the ballot. Once they make that decision, then we as city cannot talk about it in any way, shape, or form anymore. The councilors can, and we're hopeful that there's going to be some conversation opportunities where they can talk to you about it. But just like everybody else in here has life and probably would like to get back to it right now. So all of them do as well. But the intent isn't to tell people what to think. The intent is to give you the opportunity to choose, and then recognize, hopefully informed, the direction that you want to go in regards to helping to solve the problem.
If they do decide to put it on the ballot for us to vote on, is there something in there that says, hey, if the state gets their tax passed, then ours will be going away, or will it be available?
The current version of what's being proposed to the council does not, but what it does say, if they approve it, is that it's a 5-year limited duration gas tax. That if it passes, it's our opportunity to prove to you that we're going to do what we said we were going to do with the money. And it goes away, it'll go away, period, unless we bring it back to measure and the community decides to continue it. We designed it that way so that we could make sure that you could know with confidence that we're doing what we said we would do. And the difference between state money and our money is if you pay a gas tax here local, 100% of that money goes to your streets and roads. If you pay what you're paying for state tax, a watered down version of 20% comes to La Grande of what you pay in tax. So bottom line is, without trying to influence you into a thought process, here are some options for you to be able to consider. We're doing the best that we can to give you the cheapest way to do it. And if you want a thought process in regards to what we think is the cheapest, the only reluctance I had in that is it might make you feel like I'm influencing you. And so the pros and cons are written for each. And my hope would be that you would make a decision that you feel is in the best interest of you, when and if it should end up on the ballot.
I just want to jump in real quick. We are putting together a flyer that should be in the water and sewer bills. I think around September or probably more like October. So I just wanted to let everybody know that, and we'll explain more information of like if the measure passes, X, Y, Z will happen, or if the measure does not pass, you know, so.
Go ahead.
Is there a way for tenants who don't pay the water bills directly to get distribution and flyers like that?
Are you like automatic or just get emails? Distribution?
I get like John's emails. Is there another place that I can sign up for emails to get things like that?
If you reach out to me, I'll make sure you get it.
Yeah, and
If
we
you
can
tell
also,
anybody that wants it, I'll make sure they're getting it.
yeah, because that we can share the flyer once we get it approved with this elections division. So we can actually
And we'll post
send
it
out.
on the website too,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you. It does it on Facebook or something.
Yeah, and I'll put it down on social media. Thank you. All right, Parks and Rec.
Hi, my name is Stu, the Parks and Recreation Director. Nice to meet everybody. Thanks for coming down. Did you know that Safe Routes to School, part of the sidewalk conversation, is funded through Safe Routes to School, which is a statewide program through ODOT. They also do this amazing thing with a partnership with what we have as a Safe Routes to School Coalition, recruiting members now. So reach out for that. This is the tree slide. We also have urban forestry within my department. Urban forestry does lots of great things like plant over 100 trees. There's people in this room that have planted trees, I'm sure. We have trees available for a very affordable price for right-of-way trees and in the Greenwood neighborhood for yard trees. Brand new program, that's right. You can get a tree for your yard for free from the city through a grant from the Oregon Department of Forestry. So here you go. Very rudimentary instructions for watering your tree. It's hot outside, trees get thirsty, water them so they don't die. Also, with trees, we have this amazing program, another grant that the city procured recently. We're to plant trees from Starbucks to Taco Bell along the railroad trip. Coming soon in October, November. It's gonna be epic, and it's gonna change the landscape out there so it'll match the rest of town and buffer the railroad tracks and all the things go with it. Also, I wanna let you know the Splash Pad project is well underway in the fact that we've got a grant pending with State Parks and Recreation for $320,000. The local community matched that at the rate of 40%. If you do the math, it's over a couple $100,000. The local community supported through over 35 businesses and individuals giving money and financial support to the Parks and Recreation Department. Unbelievable partnership with the community. Thank you. Also, a couple of things with the Fiscal Transformation Initiative. You're going to see two things on the City Council agenda with the pool. One's for the pool, one's for ball fields. The prices are got to go up. We haven't been able to maintain our budget, so the prices for memberships of the pool are going to go up a little bit to meet with industry standard, and the price for ball field rental is also going up, especially for adults. We've got an increased demand for adult use. Kids, we love to keep free and cheap. Adults need to pay their way. So that's coming soon to City Council. Also with the Fiscal Transformation Initiative, I want to tell you that the budget was cut. You all know that. Part of the repercussions for that, the real life problems, are there's at least 2 parks with drinking fountains that don't work. There's a reason for that. One, I don't have the capacity to do that, to fix the drinking fountains, because people love to put sand and rocks and gravel into the drinking fountains, and I don't have the staff now to fix those. That's a real life example of what we go through in Parks and Rec. It seems silly until parents are out there in the smoke and heat wanting to get water for their kid. We can't afford it. I mean, this is the reality where we're at. We are tapped out. So when people criticize city government and general fund programs, it's real. We are there. We don't have time. That's where we're at. That's a real life example. Also, we depend on partnerships like with the Splash Pad. I'm going to reach out to CHD, who I think has some drinking fountain money, and some other agencies that might be able to help us out so we can maybe hire a contractor to do the work at no cost to the city. Last but not least, through general fund dollars and a partnership with a business, we're going to redo the locker room floors at the pool late August. If you've been in there recently, you might notice standing water or chipped paint and ugliness. So that's going to be a transformation at the pool. And as you know, I'm sure, we have the only indoor 360, okay, year-round, not 365. We have the only year-round indoor aquatic center, municipal aquatics building in all of Eastern Oregon, if you didn't know that. Thanks to your tax support. Any questions for Parks and Rec? All right, let's go. Go ahead, please, yes, go.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
Oh, I just
I'm ready.
wanted to tell you, Suzette, I drove all of our parks, and I think we have to. My son-in-law from Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, said he thought Grande had better parks than we did.
We do. Drop the mic. Let's keep this meeting up, let's go.
And so, if you really love his energy, then tap into it for the next week or so, because I'm going to be out of town, and Stu's going to be the acting city manager while I'm gone. All right, so
social media feed.
I want to give you guys just time back. I'm going to blaze through these and just let you see them for a couple of seconds, and I'm going to move on. If you have a question that's on the topic that pops up there, then I'll make sure to answer them. Also, I'm willing to meet with anybody that's willing to in order to be able to follow up on any of the topics that we have covered and or what didn't get covered that you'll see here. But for the sake of being able to get you back to your homes, I'm going to move through them quickly. The next, we have the, I mentioned it before, the city community roundtable in regards to the budgets. September 10th. I wanted to go into the details in regards to it. If you see this link that's down at the bottom here, bottom line is, if you guys haven't noticed it, we've got some smoke in the valley. And here's some safety tips and tricks in regards to making sure that you're being taken care of. And this particular site, if you go to it, also helps with that and even gives you some ideas of how you can help improve conditions in your home. So we'd encourage you to be able to reflect on that. I apologize for going over it so quickly. So Grande, Ron, are you here with us?
We are here. There's actually several of us that are here tonight.
I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. So I don't want to take up too much time. I am Grande. I am the Communications and Marketing Director for Grande Hospital and Clinics. The city invited us to come tonight for just a few moments, and we were really grateful for this opportunity. The hospital might be the nucleus for healthcare in the community, but we are better together, and it's rare that we get opportunities to be able to present like this, so we just have like a couple of updates that we want to share. I want to introduce everyone to Kaylin Alicia. So she is our new behavioral health provider. She focuses on child and adolescent psychology, and she is working at Dr. Ward's clinic. At the children's clinic. So she just hired on, she's only been here for just a couple of weeks. And then everybody's aware that about 3 years ago in August, Baker City lost their labor and delivery services at St. Alphonsus. And that did increase births at Grande Hospital 40%. So before that happened, we were delivering about 200 babies a year at Grande Hospital. This year, I think we're going to exceed about 350 babies being born. So we have hired a new OBGYN, and he is local. So his name is Soren Madsen. I don't know if that's a name that's familiar in the room, but Soren is a LeGrand High School graduate who just graduated in June from Oklahoma State University, and he is coming home to practice medicine. So Soren's first day at the hospital, I believe, is next Tuesday, the 27th, I believe. So we'll have to check that. His first day is the 27th. And he will be visiting with people at the farmer's market on August 1st. So if you want to go down and meet Soren, he would be happy to see everyone. And then the hospital was notified last week that we were awarded one of the Catalyst grants for the Rural Health Transformation Project to the tune of $3.2 million. And that will pay for a Da Vinci 5 surgical robot that we will be putting into the hospital. So that will be coming soon. And then just an update on support groups that we have through the hospital too. So just a reminder that we have a cancer support group, and they meet the second Monday of each month from, I believe it's 5 to 6:30. We have a Parkinson's support group that meets the first Thursday of every month from 4:30 to 5:30. And then starting this fall, we're gonna expand and add a dementia and Alzheimer's support group. And they will be meeting, I'll get that out to you as soon as I have dates solidified. They'll start in the fall. And that was based on feedback from the community that we didn't have a current support group for Alzheimer's and dementia patients, caregivers, and families. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. And then again, just thank you for letting us have an opportunity to share with everyone.
Thank you, and I commit to you that we'll get better at our time, I will get better at our time
Wait,
management.
because I have so much more to share, but I want to send everybody home.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Real quick, we had an audible that came in right before, where we have somebody who would like to share something with the community, so go ahead.
You may have seen some posters around town, but I am obsessed with picking up trash and have been for years. And so I went through the city council a while back, and we have on the website, if you go to the city website and up on the top it says community, click on that and that will take you to an adopt a block. But what I want to talk to you about is when you do that, you're committing to pick up trash, not just to get a free bucket, but you get a free bucket and a grabber that will come to your house. And also, if you have a tidy neighborhood, which I do, there's very little trash in my neighborhood, but the schools, the Eastern Campus, the parks, anywhere that you see trash, feel free to pick it up. There's no, you don't have to stick to your own block. So get your bucket and your grabber and go for it.
Thank you. Another great example of somebody who just wants to help. Thank you. Let's see, did we lose? Oh, there.
We are gonna give our time back.
Okay.
And we would like to reserve for another round table.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Oh, we're missing walnuts. The hospital's gonna have to step up their game with their. I commit to doing better.
For a nominal fee, they'll help you. Real quick, I wanted to put at the end, one of the things that the city's done to try and help itself and help the community and help a community partner is through Easter seals. If you're not aware of it, they offer the opportunity for you to get paid by Easter seals, support and assistance. The program management information is there. In the back, asking about our sidewalks is Tracy Smith, and she is now an employee working with of Easter Seals, working with the city of Grande, helping us get after things we wouldn't otherwise be able to get after, and that wage is paid by Easter Seals. So thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Easter Seals, and call them if you'd like to help. These are some upcoming events that are happening. It shows the near-term currently planned roundtables. Depending on what comes from conversation tonight, we can add some more in there potentially. Unless you have any questions there, I'll move on real quick. All right, our app. There's a threat that this app could end up going away. But what I can tell you is that our desire is to find a way. It was one of the things that got cut in the budget. We've already had paid for it up through December, but we're working to try and figure out, and the company that we're using to help us supply it is working with us to try and figure out a way to retain it. The upside to this is you can get all kinds of levels of communication or information by using the app, but the better part of it that I would argue is Carrie, thankfully, utilizes it. When I ask her to push information out into the community, she'll utilize it. So when you want to know about upcoming events, she'll send it out via the app, and you'll get a notification, and you're aware of what things are going on. The other option is sign up also for Evan Humphrey's the Grand Loop. But bottom line is we're just trying to create ways for people to know and be informed. So more people that download it, the more likelihood is that we're going to be able to keep it. I think we have, what, 220 people that have downloaded currently? All right. I'd like to get about 13,000.
Pay your water and sewer bills too.
Yeah, you can pay your water sewer bill over it as
Just
well.
make that the only way that they can pay.
Yeah, oh, hey, that's a good idea. I'm liking where your head's at. Okay, we want to hear from you. I want the opportunity to go and meet with you, to go to your venues, to go to your neighborhoods, to figure out what I need to do to help you be able to get the information you need from us and get you the opportunity to collaborate with us to help us make sure we're serving you the way that you need and want to be served. I'm not going to be able to fix every individual problem, but we'll do the best that we can to fix individual ones if we can. But at the very least, you're going to be able to see that we're moving towards better together. Unless you have any further questions, I'm going to dismiss class.